Hello and welcome to another live. Hi guys, I'm Afsana and I'm really honored to have one of my students. I'm not going to say how he's my students, but hello. Hi Zach, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It's a bright,
Good
beautiful
to
day in
hear.
London.
Well, I've got to say, big FYI, we have so many students from Dundee who are watching you. What's the connection with you and Dundee? Please
So
explain.
I graduated at University of Dundee back in 2022, studying product design. So it was good. It was fun.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So we'll just crack on to the story about tier two sponsorship. It's a very hot, trending topic right now because of what happened yesterday. So we're just going to crack on. So, the thumbnail, you look really good on the thumbnail. I just have to add that, your story. So, so I just want to say, what was the journey like? How was it for you?
It was long and arduous. It was probably the hardest journey I've had to go on in life, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, I said I graduated in 2022. It took
Mm.
me 2 years basically to land a sponsorship and a job that sponsors. So it wasn't
Okay.
easy. And there was a lot of, I don't think it was from the lack of trying. I think the effort was there. It was just that there
Mhm.
was a knowledge gap, which I hope that in today's call we'll be able to address, with my advice at the end. But yeah, long story short, it was hard. It was very, very difficult. So if any of you out there are struggling and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this, I was in that position. I was in that position 3 months ago, and I'm
Wow.
working. I'm happy. So just keep at it. Is my
Okay.
advice for that.
We need to trademark that. Okay, right. Moving on. So, when should people start then? So there'll be students watching right now. When should they start looking for tier two
Sure.
sponsorship?
I mean, I have an answer to this, and it's as soon as possible. But it's funny because I didn't take my own advice.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I spent, I think, a year and a half. I started the podcast. I tried to start a business. Try to start another business, which ended. So yes, start as soon as possible. It really depends as well, with what's happening with this graduate visa thing.
Mm,
I had 2.5 years, after
right.
graduating. But I only started looking for jobs a year and a half in, and
Right.
I have
Wow.
my graduate visa ends in October of this year, so I still have time. Um, but yeah, just do it as soon as possible. Do anything to get the ball rolling, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, those 24 months, it just flies by, doesn't it? It just
That really
flies, in front of your eyes. Right. So this is what we really want to know. So any advice that you'd give to students who are watching this right now, what would you say?
Yeah,
Your pearls of
I've
wisdom.
thought about this a lot for the past couple of weeks and months, to be honest. But I have three main ones. Three main ones.
Okay.
The one and three are probably the best ones. Two is kind of like cool, but one and three are the main ones. So if you're focusing, just focus on those those two. First one, don't take advice from someone unless they've achieved what you're trying to achieve. And I think this advice spans, both jobs and also with life, to be honest. And the example I have is with money. If you're trying to make $1 million a year, you wouldn't ask a friend who is, working on a job that pays like 20K, who's 10,000 pounds in debt. That's kind of my, and
Makes sense.
it took me a long time to come to terms with this because throughout my journey, I had my partner and I also had my parents. And, my partner is working corporate. She's doing something that's completely unrelated to what I'm doing. And my
Mm.
parents, they haven't had to apply for a job in the past 40 years, So I was taking both their advice, and it pains me to say, but their advice wasn't great because they what they were trying to achieve, what they have achieved, isn't what I was trying to set out to do. I
Okay.
was trying to find a job in sales and marketing in the health and fitness space, and none of my friends, none of my family, was in that position. So I had to take a step back and find somebody who actually knew something about this. And yeah, it's same in finance. Like you wouldn't, if you wanted to make $1 million a year, you'd ask like a CEO of a company or a business owner. And I think we can take this analogy further, as in, if the person, like let's say it is a CEO who makes $1 million a year, do I actually want that life? Do I want to be a CEO? For me, I don't
Mm.
want to be a CEO. I want to be a business owner. So I would take the advice of a business owner, not a CEO. And I think, with whatever advice you take in life, whether it's my advice, whether it's stuff you find on YouTube or LinkedIn, just always think, have they achieved what you want to achieve? And do you want a life that looks like theirs? Like I'm working in health and fitness. I got shipped off to Hong Kong in my second week of working. I had to work there while I was jet lagged. I loved that. I loved it. working 9 to 5 on a completely different body clock in a solo traveling by myself. But for some people, that's not what they want. They want to stay in one place. I'm looking at 10 different aspects of the business. Some people just want to look at one and be really good at that one. So just know what advice you're taking and from whom and why. That's my first.
It's all to do with the people that you're surrounded by. So it depends on your circle, your close circle, and advice. So that's good. Yeah. That's very valuable advice.
Friends and family can give you support and everything, but the actual advice and actually implementing it into your life and into your job search is you need somebody who's done it before.
So, for example, someone who's so are you trying to say we need to relate to the webinar? Someone who's already got Tier 2 sponsor, is it best to actually know someone who's already got it?
Yeah, exactly. Tier 2 sponsor, preferably in the job role you want and in the industry you want.
Okay, in your sector. Yeah. Okay, got it. That helps. Yeah, because they know because they've done it. Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry. No. This is the simple. What's your second form of advice?
So my second piece of advice is to find your sweet spot. I'm going to quote it sweet spot and stick to it. So before I really went into depth, and I'm just going to be upfront, I hired a career coach at the end, which I'll talk about at the end. I had no idea what I was applying for. I was applying for, because I studied design. So I was applying for creative roles. I was applying to like filmmaking. I was applying to marketing. I was applying to everything that I could, get my hands on basically, and stuff that I thought I knew and had experience in. But that turned out to be a very bad way to go about it, because when you're trying to shoot at a target that's constantly moving and with so many things, you're not going to land anything. And I feel like the universe and employers and everybody can just feel that. So I would say to focus on three main areas to like reflect on and understand. So the first one is to find out your education, and with each of these, it's really important to see what if you liked it or not, and if you were good at it. It's really important. But with education, like let's say for me, I love design, really enjoyed it, really loved it. But if I was being 100% honest with myself, I don't think I was, top 10% at design. I think there were classmates who could beat me, who could do work faster than I did. And, obviously it pained me to say that at the time when I was being honest with myself, but you just have to be real, and you just have to know your strengths and know, what you're good at, probably what you're going to get a job in. Second one is the roles that you've worked. So like I worked in sales, I worked at Rolex for a while, and I really liked that and I was good at it. So I knew that. And also my interests, I like public speaking. I like talking to people physically. So that really helped understand what I was trying to apply for. So obviously sales, marketing, I love marketing as well. And in health and fitness, I have a podcast that talks about health and fitness. So, I'm making it seem very clear and very easy now, but it definitely wasn't the case. I had to meditate and journal and think so deeply about all these things. So take a pen and paper and just write all this stuff down, so education, role, industry, and interests, just these four aspects. Which brings me to my third point, my final advice, which I think is pretty cool, is to think of job hunting like cutting down trees in a forest, right? Imagine you're in a forest and you're trying to cut down some trees to make some firewood for tonight, right? To keep yourself warm.
Yeah.
You could go about it two ways. You could either, find the first tree that you find and just try to chop it down, or even worse, which is what I did in my job search, find a tree, chop it down a little bit, and say, I don't like this tree. Let's move on to the next tree, and then chop down that tree, and then and that no trees actually get chopped down. Or you can go about it another way, which is, find a tree that's actually good for making firewood. So something that's, not wet, that's dry, that's not too tall that, it'll kill you if it falls over, or too short that it won't give you enough firewood, which is the way that you should be doing it. So using the sweet spot, you see what roles and what functions are, perfect for you, and then just sprint your way there. Just with every opportunity, like let's say I was looking for sales and marketing, right? And I put design aside. So whatever came up for design, whether it be graphic designer or industrial designer, I just walked past it because it wasn't my focus at that point. Sales and marketing and health and fitness was what I was trying to achieve. So what I did is I took my axe and I just chopped it down as hard as I could, and I got results within 3 weeks. I would say 3 weeks
Wow.
to a month. And yeah, and I feel like we can take this example even further and
Okay.
say you have the tree, which is the job opportunity, let's say, but then you also have the axe. And this has happened to me a few times where I found the right tree, I found the perfect tree. I was trying to chop it down, but then I found that my axe was too blunt and I couldn't actually chop down the tree because my axe wasn't sharpened. And in this
Okay.
case, sharpening the axe is like making sure your CV is up to snuff, making sure your LinkedIn is updated, tidying up your interview skills and doing research on the company. This is all sharpening the axe. But at the same time, if you sharpen your axe too much and work on your CV, work on your LinkedIn, but then you don't actually go and chop the tree, you don't actually apply for the job. What's the point? So it's you have to do both, and you have to be doing both constantly. You can sharpen the axe one day and then do chop down the tree another day. Just always have that. I mean, try to always have that analogy in mind. I think that's a pretty cool analogy.
It is. I never thought it. The analogies was trees, and the job is the tree, and the axe is you just cutting in.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess you could say the forest
so
itself is. Yeah, sorry. The forest itself is the industry you want to be in. So,
all right,
if
got it.
you're in one forest and then you decide like, oh my god, I want to change industry, it's going to be a lot of work because you have to change your axe probably because it's a different tree. You have to travel there. You probably can't walk there. So once you set your mind on something like with specific role and specific industry, sharpen your axe as much as you can and chop down that tree. And sharpening your axe, how I did it is I actually went through a career coach called International Hustlers.
We need to give them a shout out. We should.
Yeah, definitely. It's Farun Asim. He's the founder of that company. He's fantastic. He's a good friend of mine now, and I'll definitely give him a shout out. Like we'll put it in the link later. But
definitely,
I feel like you could directly just go to sharpen the axe, but what's important is that you also need to know what forest you're in and what tree you're chopping down. So for me, I go through a year and a half of just trying stuff out. I was in different forests doing different things. It wasn't even a forest. It was a desert at one point. I was trying to make my own business. And then
I was going to say jungle, but you said desert. Desert, there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And it was an ocean, which is my podcast.
Oh my goodness, it gets worse. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. But I finally found the forest. And then
okay.
I didn't really know what forest, but I knew it was a forest. I knew I wanted to find a job and stay in the UK. So I went to Farhun. I used all of his free resources. I managed to make an impression, and he gave one-to-one tutoring to me, basically, and we found a job in the end. But if any of you have specific questions, because I do get DMs in my LinkedIn, if you have specific questions about International Hustlers, my advice is try to understand as much as you can about what forest you want to be in and what tree you want to cut down, and then use his resources to sharpen your axe. So he has so much information about tailoring your CV, optimizing your LinkedIn. That's the way to go about it. Don't go to him asking him, or don't come to me even ask me like, hey, what do I do with my job search?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've only been employed for like 3 weeks, so I have no idea. Just as I said, journal, meditate on these things, try to understand what your strengths are and why you like them, and then maybe if you're in health and fitness and want to get a job in sales and marketing, maybe you can come to me. But if it's not, I have no idea.
You need to plug your podcast, Zach. You need to do that. This is the opportunity.
Sure. I mean, it's more of a side thing, but it's called The Habit Hackers. Talk about health, fitness, and any ways to improve your life. Yeah.
You must put in the caption afterwards. Put it in the caption so people can listen to it as well. That'll be brilliant. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your valuable time. You're actually in the middle of your working day, so I'll let you go. You truly deserve. Really, I know. Look at you. I'm so proud of you. It's always good to see any of our students, through their journey from being a student to actually getting the Tier 2 sponsorship. I can just see from your face the amount of relief you have.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, you are very fortunate. And as Zach said, you can't just be jack of all trades and just go crazy and apply for everything. You have to find your forest and then work on that with your axe. So great analogy. You should trademark that, actually. You should. Brilliant.
Just let the people
thank you so much.
Sure.
No, definitely. Well, thank you so much. I really wish you the very best. Is there any way you can shamelessly plug Dundee and maybe us about Dundee?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if all I'll say is that if I came to London and studied, I would have a lot less money in my pocket and I'd be a lot more stressed.
Okay, I didn't expect that. Okay, so
I feel like London's for working people, and like these student cities, I would say, is it's just way better. It's way better for mental health and just the feeling of community. I still have friends from Dundee coming down to London to see me, so it's great. It's great to make friends,
oh,
lifelong
nice.
friends.
That's
So yeah.
oh. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Zach. It's been a pleasure and honor to know you and to actually, see your journey. And we generally wish you the very best in your future. So thank you so much, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you, Afsana.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, so as you can see, I'm so proud of him. I'm sure his parents and his teachers, those of you watching from Dundee, why do I keep mentioning Dundee University? He's such a humble guy. I don't know if it's very modest, but basically he comes from a very, very good university called Dundee University. What's the link with us? Basically, we are a direct authorized partner for Oxford International, or for the International College of Dundee, Dundee University's International College. So if you'd like a bachelor's admission or a pre-master's admission for Dundee, which is in Scotland, all you need to do is to DM me direct. Now, with regards to the Tier 2 sponsorship, my goodness, look how hard he worked. And to begin with, he took it easy, and then as you can see through the journey, how his mindset changed. Then he realized they had to switch a bit more. He had to upskill himself. He contacted a third party. He will mention that in the caption just for you guys. But at the end of the day, this is what UK Bright Education is all about. We are here to empower you. We are here to empower the student. We're not here. We do work with the universities, but we are working here to empower students through education. With that education, his dream was to stay in the UK and to get a job in the UK. It just happens to be, I think it's in London, but the whole point is he fulfilled his dream. Would you like to fulfill your dream? Well, there's the option of applying direct to the UK, or alternatively, like our friend Zach here, he actually applied for her degree, and then he went on to stay in the UK and to actually find a Tier 2 sponsored job. Now, if that is something that you would like to do, if your dream is to come to the UK and to get financial freedom and all the other perks that comes with living in the UK, all you need to do is DM me. Until next time, my friends, take care.